Hello, and welcome to the Money and Banking Law Podcast with Joe Silvia, brought to you by Duane Morris, an international law firm with roughly 30 offices and 1,000 lawyers all over the world. I'm your host, Joe Silvia. I'm a former Federal Reserve lawyer who represents banks, fintechs, and financial services clients on M&A, payments, and regulatory matters at Duane Morris. I'm also a core member of our banking, fintech, and digital assets and blockchain practices. Now, while we can't provide legal, financial, investment, or tax advice on the podcast, our goal for the Money and Banking Law podcast is to inform and educate our clients and friends on both the fundamental concepts and structure of the banking ecosystem, as well as critical developments in the law and regulation of money and banking. Thanks for joining us today. As always, if you have any questions from any of our podcast episodes, please reach out to me at jsylvia@duanemorris.com. On this episode, we're talking about commercial banking relationships with Jon Petrakis, a partner in the Duane Morris Philadelphia office and one of the leaders of the firm's banking and finance practice. Jon, let me begin by asking you to provide a little bit of background on yourself and your practice.
Sure, Joe. Good afternoon. Good to be with you. Well, I've been at this for over 40 years now, and I started out as a trial lawyer. I tried a bunch of cases when I was young, but my practice kind of migrated to representation of banks. I was lucky at a relatively early point in my career to start handling a lot of work for banks, primarily in workout litigation, and got a lot of experience with exercising the bank's rights under loan documents, to go after collateral, whether it's commercial mortgage foreclosures to actions on notes and guarantees, exercising rights under Article 9 against inventory and equipment, that kind of stuff. So I really got an understanding of how the documentation and loan documentation was supposed to work. So at one point, kind of early on, I thought, hey, I know how I know these documents cold. I know how the remedies provisions work. I think I can handle the front end, the actual documentation of these deals. So I started doing that as well. And that's been, the nature of my practice since. It's kind of a hybrid, both front end, handling and managing the team who does commercial finance deals, and then handling cases on the back end when those deals default.
Yeah, great. So where you mentioned you've had a long and storied career here. Where's most of your work today? Where are you focusing most of it today?
Today, I'm, as you indicated, I'm a team lead in our bank industry group, and the bank industry group focuses on all the work that we do for banks and non-bank lenders, from commercial finance to the regulatory work like you do to to both workout litigation and other litigation. We manage that, and we're trying to grow that practice. Now, personally, I'm not handling loan documents anymore. I mean, I'm not drafting loan documents anymore, but I've got a great team, or we have a great team, great commercial finance team. So I manage a lot of that work, and I view my job as making sure that those loans are handled by really competent people, that they do an excellent job, and they close them on time. And the work that I'm still personally doing is some of the more complex workouts and workout litigation.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So in the context of the work that you're either doing now or you've done in the past, what has been most interesting to you in the commercial finance space?
The juicy workout, Joe. That's what I really like. I mean, I can give you an example of something that I'm working on now that I find very interesting. I just like chasing after the bad guys, or bad women. In this case, we've got an owner of a borrower that we believe was actively, personally committing fraud upon the bank. And actually, it's a bank group. It's a syndicated loan, primarily because she misrepresented the value of accounts, deliberately misrepresented, we believe, the value of accounts receivable. And we settled with the company, and now we're going after her personally because we allege that she committed fraud. That's the kind of stuff that that I find very interesting.
Yeah, the more complex of stuff.
Yeah, and you just feel like you're righting a wrong,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
easier said than done.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure. So
Yeah.
you've got a relatively unique skill set, I think, that you've developed over your entire career that's both on the front end or has been on the front end and now kind of on the workout side or transitioning into the workout side a little bit. Um, where where do you see, or what do you see as some of the most important skills for lawyers in the commercial finance, the commercial banking context? Where are they most effective? What kinds of things should younger lawyers be thinking of in terms of skill development?
Well, there's a lot to that question, so strap in. Okay, first and foremost, you got to be responsive. You got to do an excellent job. You've got to know your subject matter, and that's where it starts. But whether you're handling commercial finance, litigation, regulatory and investment work, or other matters, you've got, in addition to just doing great work, you have to establish rapport with your clients. You got to become their business partners. And that means, the rapport has to be with in-house counsel or lenders or workout officers or whoever you're dealing with. And I think one of the best ways to establish that rapport is to keep them well apprised of legal expenses for a given engagement, and hopefully obtain their buy-in with respect to those expenses, if not their appreciation. And can we take commercial finance as an example, right? Well, and none of this is rocket science, but you got to establish a fee range at the outset, right? Not a cap. When clients ask me to cap my fees, all the bells and whistles and alarms go off, because if you cap your fees on a commercial finance matter, or God forbid litigation matter, you're going to get abused. Borrowers counsel, if they know that your fee is capped, they're going to over negotiate those documents, right? So you never do that. But as a deal progresses, and a lot of lawyers just don't seem to do this, you got to make sure that you update your fee estimate. You discuss problems or issues that are occurring that are unforeseen. And let's face it, unforeseen stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
And you got to communicate, because you have to remember that this lender is a person that is entrusting you with his or her customer relationship, and you got to help them avoid surprises, right? That's an absolutely key thing that you have to do, and that way hopefully you'll gain their support, right? And they'll help you collect their fee.
Yep, absolutely.
Your fee, I mean.
Right, yeah. So some of these skills, how are they best developed? Is it really just practice and practice and practice and having more experience with clients directly, having more experience on deals? I mean,
Well, it does come with experience. And it's easier on the commercial finance side, because when you've done a bunch of deals, whether it's commercial real estate deals or even big syndicated credits where you're representing an agent bank with a bunch of participants, you should have a general idea of where that fee should come in. And I say general idea because, you know, pardon the expression, but always happens,
Yep.
and you have to deal with that. But whether you're a really senior lawyer or or a junior partner who's just developing that great relationship with a new client, you've got to keep your fingers on the pulse of the expense as it grows, and it's just Joe, that just comes with repetition.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Any key do's or don'ts with respect to building these kinds of relationships?
Well, a key do is get to know your client's business. Get to know what the bank's sweet spot is. Get to know senior management. Become, as I said earlier, become their business partner. One of the nicest things a client ever said about me, and our marketing folks do these client outreaches to kind of get a report on how we're doing. The COO of one of my best bank clients said, "It's like Jon is a key member of our management team because that's how deeply I've gotten
Yeah.
involved." That's if you can get to that level of relationship with a client, you've got that client for your career. Key don't, pretty easy. Don't take them for granted. Don't fail to regularly communicate with them, and don't surprise them with huge legal bills without informing them. That's the nature of surprise, without informing them as you go along.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about this a few minutes ago, but what if a client does not support you in the event that you have a fee that ends up being higher than what you initially thought it was going to be, even if there's good reason and good communication throughout? How do you
Yeah,
approach that?
that's a really good question. And that's a difficult circumstance. But look, if it's been a good client and it's a lender who has or a workout officer that has generally been reasonable with us, we'll probably compromise the fee because we know that it's an ongoing relationship, and that will come back. That'll come back to us in a positive fashion. But having said that, if I've established a rapport and a relationship of mutual respect, uh, we'll have a discussion, and I've had clients make up, for example, for a borrower's refusal, to pay our full fee by agreeing to pay something out of the fee that the bank collects. But you got to be careful with that. And in my view, and our finance team, I think Duane Morris supports this. Getting that additional amount of our fee sometimes is not worth
Yeah.
the potential, damage to the relationship. Is banks don't like to come out of their pocket, out of their fee to
Right.
pay your fee. Okay, now, but look, if it's been a lender who treats us, like we're a necessary evil or like a commodity, and we've kept them apprised of the fees and issues, and we've closed on schedule, and we've done everything right, I'm going to push back, and I'm going to insist on payment of our fee, maybe with a minor discount, just to try to save the relationship. And you know what, Joe? And you've probably experienced this. If that client comes back at you and is not supportive, well then they're not a good business partner, and maybe you should add by subtraction, if you know what I
Right.
mean.
Right. No, absolutely
So
right. Well, especially in the case where you're assuming you've had the good communication throughout, whatever the deal is or
yeah,
the workout. I mean, if everybody's apprised of what's going on, it seems to me that it shouldn't be something that happens at the end where they say, oh, well, the fee is more than we expected or more than estimated, so we need to cut it back. So
Yeah. But sometimes, that does happen. However, but there are times when, despite our best efforts or best intentions, maybe we don't communicate as well. And sometimes lawyers even go down rabbit holes that maybe they shouldn't go down. And
right.
you got to be cognizant of that. And that doesn't mean, that we did a bad job or that any given firm did a bad job or it's not a great lawyer. But like I said before, things happen sometimes, and you gotta make good decisions on the fly.
Yeah. Well, and the focus, I think, like you mentioned, is on the relationship and continuing to build that, and continuing to have a successful partnership with the client. I don't know that there's everyone out there in private practice that tends to look at things the same way in terms of trying to build not only a relationship with the client, but really a partnership with the client. And that goes down the path of understanding their business, like you were talking about earlier, and really acting and being a key part of their team, whether it's their management team, their lending team, or otherwise. That seems like a critical component to me, and it kind
Yeah,
of bleeds into the next question I had for you, which is, where have you had yourself or you've seen others have the most success in developing a commercial banking or commercial finance practice within the legal community?
you know, again, it's by getting to know your client's business. Um, just by becoming as involved as they'll let you,
Yeah.
become. Now, again, that's all in addition to being responsive, doing a great job. And the other thing that I'll say is, on a personal level, um, it's it's it, you. We all want to work with people we like, right? And if you like the people that you're working with at the bank, you probably have similar interests. For me, the golf course has always been a beautiful place to develop relationships. It is not hyperbole for me to say that I built substantial part of my practice by entertaining clients on a golf course. Because if you're with someone for you know 4 to 6 plus hours, lunch, golf, drinks, or golf, drinks, dinner, you're either going to establish a rapport or you're not. And you find
Yeah.
out a lot of things about people when you're on a golf course, a lot of things about their character. Um, and when you enjoy one another's company, that's just going to help you, obviously build a relationship and build a business. But in addition to that, you don't have to be a golfer. Just, it's sporting events, music events, just almost every day I will call one of my clients just to, say hello and, see what's going on and see what's coming down the pike in terms of, potential work. Or I'll send them some of the great updates that you and others in our firm prepare with respect to, key developments in law that's relevant to them. Did I answer
Yeah.
your question?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. It reminded me, as you were talking not only about golf, but just that 4 to 6 hour time frame. It reminded me of the Bankers Open that you have kind of run, and it's been I think probably a key component of Duane Morris's banking and finance relationship building and expansion in Philadelphia. I mean, I'm throwing a curveball at you, but I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about that, because it's been a great event, and I know there are also people that come out from Duane Morris that are not avid golfers, but they still go to build relationships and to build the rapport and to have fun with people that they enjoy being around.
Well, I'm happy to talk about the Bankers Open. When I got to Duane Morris in 2011, I knew that Duane Morris had a special relationship with this great golf club that's about an hour west of Philadelphia, and I knew that there were some client outings there, but I also knew that Duane Morris has always represented a lot of banks. I mean, banks are a key component of our practice. Um, And and I still know that bankers love to play golf. And bankers, unlike lawyers, like hanging around each other because
Yeah.
they've probably been at but there's a commerce of bankers among banks, uh, and I just thought, well, we've got a great venue. This is a great opportunity for us to spend time with good clients as a reward, good prospects as an inducement. This thing, we've been doing this now for since 2012, and this will be, 14, 15 years. Uh, and, we've narrowed it down a bit. We like about 14 foursomes. So that's one Duane Morris partner and three clients in every foursome. So it's sizable, yet it's yet still intimate.
Yeah.
And we just have as you know, we have a great day. And for some, it's a great night and stay over because there's lodging there. But it's just been great for the brand. I mean, period end. It's just been great for the brand.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fantastic event. I have yet to play in it when the weather was actually cooperating, but other than that, it's
Yeah, we do
great.
that in early October, and it can be hit or miss. It's unfortunate. Yeah, maybe it's you, Joe, because the
I
last
think it
couple of
could
years
be.
it's been a little tough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It
We
was the
might move it
first
up
year.
into September.
Yeah, yeah, but always fun, and to some degree that challenging weather sometimes adds to the camaraderie a little bit.
It
Either
does.
either that
Yeah.
or just the drinks are trying to keep you warm at some point, but
Well, there's that
it
as
makes it
well.
a lot of
Yeah.
interest.
And
So
nothing wrong with a really good glass of red wine to warm
that's
you up,
right. That's
or a
right.
scotch.
Or scotch. There you go. So, kind of starting to wrap up here, for young lawyers out there, what advice would you provide them if they're either in the commercial finance space, trying to develop their own relationships, book of business, anything that you would suggest for them?
Well, again, aside from making sure that you are it's responsive and know your stuff, stay in front of people.
Yeah.
Just stay in front of them. Um, young lawyers have asked me, well, how do you get business? Ask, find a reason to stay in front of good, legitimate prospects.
There
I,
you go.
yeah, I mean that's really all there is to be said, I think.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So final question, where can our audience find you if they have any questions, they need your expertise, they want to go golfing, they want to talk about the Bankers Open, any of the above?
Yeah. Well, yeah, great final question. Well, I am on LinkedIn. I'm not really active. I would say the best way to reach me is, via email or phone. Look at our directory, Duane Morris directory, and I'm always happy to hear from new potential friends. And yeah, and I'm not hard. I'm not hard to find.
Great. Well, I appreciate it, John. I appreciate your time and expertise and everything that you were able to share today. It really means a lot to me and to the podcast. So I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Joe. This was fun.
Yeah, this is a great time. For our audience out there, that's all we have for today with John. But if you have any questions from any of our episodes, you know where to reach me, jsylvia@duanemorris.com, or you can reach out to John or any of your other favorite Duane Morris lawyers.
Jay
Finally, be sure
Petrakis at DuaneMorris.com. Sorry for
there you
stepping on you.
There you go. Yes, Jay Petrakis. That's right. That's right. Finally, be sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you all listening in. And once again, thanks again to Jon Petrakis for joining us.
Thanks, Joe.
Awesome. Thank you.